Okay, hi everyone. The purpose of this video is to give you a quick tour of the sensors that are available for using on the Finch Robot. So if you have looked at the Finch carefully, you might see some holes and things on the front here that sort of give the Finch, that looks sort of like a face here, looks like a bird, maybe some eyes here, and there's a nose here. Of course, you know you can change the color, but it turns out the sensors are sort of integrated and embedded in some of these holes. So to start with, these black tubes that you see here, certainly give the Finch the appearance of having eyes, and in some sense they are eyes, but actually what's embedded inside of these tubes are little infrared lights. So they're lights that come on, and it's infrared, so we can't see them with our own eyes, but they're definitely there. And what they'll do is send an infrared beam out, and it sort of travels through the room. It's probably only effective for a few inches or so, but what the infrared can do is if there's an obstacle in the way of the Finch, say maybe something like this block of wood here, say this block of wood gets in the way, then what will happen is the infrared light can travel out of this eye here or this one and travel this way, and it would hit the wood and bounce off and go back into the Finch. And so whenever this Finch sort of sees a return of some of the infrared like that, it knows there must be an obstacle in the way, like this piece of wood, and you can use that in your code to say stop or go, there's something in the way. So that's one sensor there. That's part of the Finch. So there is a right sensor and a left sensor. Both can be looked at independently, so you can see if something is blocking, say, just the right side of the Finch over here, or the left side of the Finch over here. There's left and right. I believe this one in the middle right here is a middle sensor, but sort of oddly, I don't see a block for programming that inside of Scratch, so we'll just let that go for the moment. Okay. So anyway, those are your obstacle sensors. These two holes here and here, if you look inside them very carefully, you can see a little face of something there that has these lines on them. These are light sensors. So the Finch is sensitive to the brightness of the light in a room. Let me tilt it up a little bit. Yeah, you can see them there. So there and there, those are light sensors. So the Finch can know how bright it is in a room. This little black sensor right here is a temperature sensor. So the Finch can be sensitive to how warm or cold it is in its environment in a room or whatnot. And so that's it for the visible sensor. So the other one that's right about back here in the Finch is an acceleration sensor. And so what that means is that if the Finch is ever sort of picked up and jerked around like this, it can pick that sort of jerky motion up. It's called acceleration. It's in there. And the last one that it has built in that you can't see is an orientation sensor. So the Finch is sort of like this. If it's tilted up or level or down, that can be sensed as well. So if your Finch ever finds its way on a ramp going up or down, or even picked up by you or a student and sort of twisted around like this, or even shaken, the orientation sensor can pick up its orientation. So that is a tour of the sensors on the Finch. And those are, of course, inputs to the software versus the outputs. And remember, the outputs that you have are, of course, changing the color of the nose. You can make the wheels turn at different powers. And there's a beeper in there you can sort of make go off as well. So that sort of is a complete rundown of the sensors on the Finch that we'll get into programming in the next couple videos.